So thank you everyone for being here today. I am so thankful for all of your support. You guys just being here is just so amazing. And I would like to thank all the people that donated, opened doors for me, and supported me throughout this whole entire project. I couldn't have finished it off without you guys and all your support. I would first like to thank my Girl Scout Gold Award advisor, Miss Lynn Johnson, for all of her support and just helping me throughout the paperwork process and just making this Gold Award so much easier for me to go through. And then I would like to thank my troop leader, Miss Jamie Hanna, for all of her constructive feedback just on the website and in my project overall. I wouldn't have, gone as far as I have came without her. I would also like to thank the project team, Miss Dollie Thomas, Dr. Thomas, and Mr. David Evans, just for being able to open up all these doors for me. I just am so grateful to do this project with them, and I am so glad we are all here to see how far we came for this project. I would also like to thank my family and my teachers just for being flexible with my project, being able to, be there for moral support. I am so thankful for all of them, and I am so thankful for you guys as well. So now it is 6:34. I'm going to turn it over to our panel. Dr. Thomas will be moderating the panel, and I'm going to switch it over to her.
Thank you, Zara. We are so proud of you and so honored to be a part of your Gold Award project. I would like to introduce the panel for tonight. First, we have, of course, our very own Zara Jones, who is a senior girl in the Girl Scouts. And we have Dollie Thomas, who is a board member of the Plano African American Museum and a descendant of the founding families of the Douglas community. We also have Eleanor Stimpson Evans, who is a descendant of the founding families and lifetime volunteer and advocate for the Douglas community. We also have Keith Uselton. He is a historian at the Heritage Farmstead Museum. And so welcome, 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 panelists. I would like to start out by asking Zara the first question. How do you think sharing the history will impact our communities?
I think it will positively impact the community throughout the way because it reinforces lost history and it reinforces Black history, and it all starts locally.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, Dolly Thomas, how do you feel about the same question?
Fact is going to be absolutely enormous because um, for so long we thought we did not have a history because of certain things. So this is just going to kind of open some the younger generation's eyes as to what and who we are and where we came from. So that's always good.
Wonderful. And Mr. Keith, I'll ask the question again. How do you think sharing this history will impact our communities?
Well, just kind of touching on what Dolly was talking about, I think it's where Zara and others pick up the torch. It's the next generation, right? We're getting back in the museum. We're getting those doors open again. And that's always a great thing when we save lost history, right?
Wonderful, wonderful. And Miss Eleanor Evans, how do you feel about this question?
I believe that sharing the history will impact the community because it will give us some idea of where we came from, where we're going, whose shoulders we're standing on, and what we need to do. And that brings more pride to the people in the community to know our history.
Wonderful. Those are exciting answers, and this is history making right now, Zara. I have another question for you. What are the biggest challenges we face when it comes to learning and sharing African American history?
That is a loaded question. As a student, I visited many museums, and I don't think that the ones that I visited had very many, what is it called? It didn't have a lot of spotlights on the African American history or the people of color. And I think that it was very important to have that. And I just think that, those contributions should be accessible to people. And I think that the Black history shouldn't just be celebrated in a single month. I think that Black history should be celebrated all months of all time, because there's so much history and it's too much to be compacted into one month.
Wonderful, wonderful. Miss Eleanor, can you answer the same question?
I sure can. I feel that the biggest challenge that we face is making African American history American history a part. We are a part of American history, and just giving us 1 month to celebrate a certain group of people that have made different achievements is not nearly enough, because if you look around, the inventions that were invented by African American people for survival have now become a part of everyday life. Even the cell phone, what we're doing now, this was started by African Americans.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, Miss Dollie, what are the biggest challenges we face when it comes to learning and sharing African American history?
I think the biggest challenge is, and it's been alluded by Zara and Miss E, that just to get everyone on board with African American history is American history. For so long, our African American history has only been the struggle. Well, in school, all I learned is that we were slaves and we struggle all our life. But now we are teaching our generations and the generations to come what we have contributed to this great country. So now what we have to do is we have to get everybody on board with, yes, we contributed enormously to the wealth, to the success, and to who America is, or the United States is today. So as soon as that's the hurdle we must jump over right now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Mr. Keith, can I get you to chime in on that question?
Absolutely. I echo the same thing. I think it's getting to the table and discussing the truth of the past, right? That from the very beginning, we've all had a hand in building this country, and that recognizing those different voices and those different talents and everyone's contribution. But I would definitely say bringing it to a platform that's large enough to get the word out so that people are talking about it and recognizing it on a grander scale than it is being acknowledged today.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, Zara, what advice do you have for students and or adults about being open-minded to learning more about Black history outside of Black History Month?
I have a lot to say about this one, because I spent months and months of reading, learning, and absorbing all of this information. And it was upsetting to know that Black history was condensed down into 1 month. And so just like what Mr. Keith said, we did build this country together. And it was painful history to see, and it's painful to see that the history that I've learned so far is history that's not really recognized. So the advice that I give to everyone is we need to have an open mind and heart to understand it, not just read it, but to truly absorb it and understand it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Mr. Keith, can you go ahead and give us your opinion on that? Would you like for me to repeat it?
Yeah, would you go ahead and just kind of give me a flashback?
What advice do you have for students and or adults about being open-minded to learning more about Black history outside of Black History Month?
Well, don't get stuck in the narrative that's been out there. Seek new material, right? Like, find stuff that nobody else has found before and share it with other people, so that they can know. That's really what it's about. It's word of mouth, finding all the cool stuff and letting other people know what's happening. What really is. It's not just the the 1 month. It's just not the one person, the one contribution. It is the everyday lives of people throughout an extended period of time that have made it great. And so again, don't limit yourselves.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Miss Eleanor, would you like to chime in on that?
Well, my advice would be to students, while you're still in the learning stage, apply yourself, go out of the box, figure out what has happened, because there have been just different people that have been highlighted, you know, such as the peanut and this. And I was really shocked at 40 years old, I think, to learn that the signal light, we call them red light, was invented by Garvey, a Black man. And from there, I went and did some more studying and more learning, because what I learned from other people in books as far as school or whatever was who they picked for me to learn from or learn about. You know, so I had to do research or whatever like Zara on my own to find out all of these other wonderful, smart people that I stood on their shoulders to get where I am.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Miss Dollie, what about you? Would you like for me to restate the question?
Yeah, you can repeat the question.
Okay. What advice do you have for students and or adults about being open-minded to learning more about Black history outside of Black History Month?
So I'd like to address the adults, because I think the students, they have it. You know, we are in the big salad bowl now. There are so many cultures, so many ethnicities, so many people that our children are growing up with. They can't help but want to learn about something. But as adults, we've got to get over the fear of pride in who I am, you know, and for my Anglo brothers and sisters, you all have to get over the fear that if I talk about Black history, is that going to diminish me? And it's not. We are all in this together. We all have our part. And that is the one thing I think we need to, as adults, realize nobody is any better than the other. We all contribute and we all can contribute. Once we do that, then I think it will just, this whole nation will be so much better. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you to our wonderful panelists. It's been a pleasure asking you the questions and hearing what you really think about it. I think we're all encouraged to learn more about Black history. At this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Zara Jones for the moment we've been waiting for, a walkthrough of the website.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thomas. So I'm going to get into the About Us page, which is the first page. So this just talks about the Plano African American Museum, and it celebrates the rich history, heritage, and culture of African Americans in the Douglas community. We do combat them with absence, which is a theory that states if we are not talking about it, then it never happened. As you can see, if you can see right here in the green, is that our 2021 exhibits are the Plano African American Museum, which is a time capsule exhibit from the Plano African American Museum building that's located in the Douglas community. Then we have the Founding Families, which is firsthand experiences and interviews from the founding families. And then we have Heritage, which is historical, modern, and contemporary contributions of African American women. Then we have Trailblazers, which is African Americans in North Texas that were pioneers in their professional, civic, or social roles in the community. And then we have Influencers, which is ordinary citizens doing extraordinary things. And then we have Disruptors, which is people, events, and movements that made a significant impact by civil rights, liberty, and equality issues. Then we have our special thanks to the project team, Ms. Dollie Thomas, Mr. David Evans, Dr. Thomas. And then we have our recent exhibits, You can check out these exhibits on the Learn page as well, and we will get into that soon. And then we have our Black History timelines. On the left side in the red is going to be National Black History, and then on the right, it's in the black, it's going to be Plano Black History. Okay. And then you could go to the links because some of them are also attached to exhibits as well. So on the Learn page, this is just all the exhibits together. And then if we go to the Plano African American exhibit, you will see exhibits that mention what's inside the museum. It talks about what the museum is and the history behind that. This exhibit shows what's inside the museum, the wallpaper, the architecture of it, what's inside of it, and it just goes throughout that. And then there's also some videos as well that you should definitely watch. And then there are also exhibit activities. You will see these in a couple of different exhibits. So I suggest that you guys totally check that out, and also write a comment, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And then if we go to Heritage, you will see women that did such extraordinary things, such amazing things in the community, like Dr. Thomas, Frederick Stimpson, Millie Stimpson, Dr. Myrtle Hightower, and just the founding families as well. And then if we go to Trailblazers, I definitely love the segregation to integration of Plano in schools in Plano. It just talks about the process that they went through from when the U.S. Supreme Court, the Brown versus Board situation, until Plano decided to integrate the schools, is such amazing and mind-blowing history. I really think you guys need to read this. It's really amazing history. And it also includes some pictures from yearbooks and just learning about, how life was back then. And then, let's see, influencers. These are going to be people in the community that impacted the Black community as well. So whether it was the first mayor of Plano, or it was Robert Haynes, or the Rise of DC Queens, these are people or organizations that did impact the Black community. And on our share page, we have cards. The yellow cards will be people, the names of very, very important people. And then the red cards are going to be super important words that you should know that that affected in a positive way or in different situations of the Black community. And then in the green cards, those are going to be arts, culture, and history and heritage. You can also share, you can also like them, and you can also download them. And then if we scroll back up and go to the support page, that is our last page. It just says a couple ways you can support. The biggest way you can support is by subscribing, by providing your email, so that whenever there is a new exhibit that comes out about the Plano African American Museum, you guys will be the first to know about it. Thank you guys so much for being here and supporting my project. I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you so much for all of your support. Also on the bottom is the tag cloud. If you want to look at anything specifically that has videos in it, you can click on it and it will take you to the exhibits that include videos. So again, thank you guys so much for just supporting my project, opening doors for me, donating, and just helping me throughout this project. I am so glad you guys are here. Thank you.